Hello, everybody. How are you doing? This is Robyn O'Neil. This is me reading stuff. This is the return of me reading stuff. I disappeared on you. I went MIA on you for God knows how. I have no idea how long it's been, to be honest with you, but it's just something I had to do. I can talk about that more in a minute, but I appreciate all of your emails and messages and faxes and all of the above. A lot of you guys reached out, and I appreciate it. And you kept listening to the episodes. It turns out I got a little report from Podomatic that came back, and it said everybody was listening to the older episodes, which kind of made me happy. I mean, a lot of the older episodes aren't that great, but there's probably some okay content poetry-wise on them. I'm assuming, I hope, I don't know. I wonder how much of the past of the podcast I'd be embarrassed by at this point. I don't know if I have a tendency to be embarrassed in that way very often, because I just kind of think, we all grow and change, and it's okay. I'm not going to be embarrassed that I loved Smashing Pumpkins in high school. I'm not going to be embarrassed that I thought the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was like the coolest guy in the whole world when I was in junior high. I mean, I don't know. Should I be embarrassed? Maybe not. Maybe, I mean. Clearly my default is don't be embarrassed. I've never believed in guilty pleasures. I think you should be proud of your pleasures as long as they're not hurtful to other people. Anyway, how are you guys doing? It's been a long time, been a real long time, and I've missed talking to you. I've missed talking to you guys, but I also needed to be silent for a while. You may have seen also somebody's popped off of Instagram for a long time. I don't know if to be honest, let's just start out with this saying, I don't know what I even talked about last time that I did a podcast. I don't know where I was in life. I feel just very confused, and I didn't really feel like checking all of that and being specific. So all I know is I took Instagram off of my phone because after my show in New York, I really had no reason to be on it. I kind of think about it as a good way to tell you guys, or to tell anybody who cares about my art life, what's going on. And I had just been working towards my next show. So I'll probably pop back on there this month to direct people where to go. It's going to be at Inman Gallery, opening on Saturday. I think that's September 17th. If you happen to be in Houston, Texas, or anywhere in Texas, you can swing on down to Houston. I'll be giving a little, not a lecture. It's going to be like a little talk with Damien, actually. Damien will be interviewing me live at Inman Gallery on that Saturday afternoon, right before the opening, and that should be really fun. I haven't been to Texas. I don't think I've been. Have I been since the lockdown in 2020? I don't believe I have. I don't know. I don't remember. But anyway, I'm coming back just for a couple of days, so that'll be good. And other than that, let's see, what else? I don't know. I've just been working towards that. I've got all sorts of surprises to tell you guys about. I am off of work right now. I am purposely not doing anything like studio-wise. I'm doing a lot of stuff in my yarn room. So stuff for myself, stuff for friends, stuff for Christmas presents, and stuff for the shop. I keep saying there's going to be new stuff in the shop, and I don't mean to lie, but I decided to wait until the fall. A lot of yarn-related stuff seems more like fall stuff to me, so might as well wait. And yeah, I've been, I guess now's where I'll talk about a few things. I'm not going to go on and on today. I think slowly, as I keep recording podcasts, as I return, you'll just hear more about what my life's been like over the past few months. But long story short, I still am not well, physically speaking, but I'm a little bit better than before, but my health has been really bad, and, it's been scary and upsetting, and, what's new? That's just how it goes. Today I got some slightly good news about a hopeful turnaround. Sorry, I'm itching my face. So that's what kind of prompted me. Maybe I'm ready to speak, but you know how sometimes you're just like, things are so complex and difficult in life sometimes that you're just like, I just need a break. And look, I don't make money on this podcast or anything. So it's one of the first things that's kind of have to go if I'm overwhelmed, right? I've got to just, and I also do have a tendency to be, when I'm not physically feeling well, it's very difficult for me to want to talk about it. Not that I, think I need to be some bright light in people's lives, nor do I think I am that, but I don't know. There was just something going on. I've been going through a lot of changes and trying to figure some things out about myself. So, and I'm not trying to sound mysterious. I mean, basically, I'm just doing what I'm always doing, which is trying to work on myself and trying to figure out why certain things have happened in my life, why I've reacted certain ways, why is my body hurting me so much? And I'm just trying to get better in all sorts of ways. I know I told you guys that I believe I told you guys that I'm a workaholic. And when I say that is me kind of like stating the same as something like I'm an alcoholic, even though I'm not an alcoholic. But what I'm saying is, apparently it's that severe. And it's really weird that I knew that I worked a lot, but I thought because I love what I do for a living, making these drawings, I thought that was just totally fine. Like, what's the big deal? This is what gives me life. This is a calling. This isn't really a job. And that's all I ever wanted since I proclaimed it at age 5 to my parents and my grandma. So what's the big deal? Well, it's a very big deal. And it's very much, I'm not going to say ruined my life because I'm fine really overall, but it's definitely made my life very difficult and very much harder. And the sad part that I've learned about workaholism is that it is a disease of self-hatred, which really sucks. And anyway, so I am now working through a workaholics workbook. I'm just addressing the issue. And, for me, trying to not work like all hours of the day and to try to be kind to my body and to do this it turns out this is why I never could do a sleep schedule. This is why I wasn't good. Like, I wasn't comfortable taking weekends or even days off or certainly not going on a vacation and all that stuff, because I feel like a total loser when I step away from the studio. I even told Damien the other night, here's a good example of what it's like to be a true deep workaholic. I was in the bathtub doing my nighttime reading, and I was enjoying it. I'm learning, I'm figuring things out. And this, it's a novel, but I'm, getting something from it. And this doesn't make sense because that's not my job to read, but stick with me and maybe it'll make sense. And this is after I was done with my show. So this is me like winding down, but still like doing something productive, which I find to be reading. Challenging reading. So I'm reading, and then from the time I did whatever you call it when you drain the bathtub, pull that drain thing out, it's draining. I'm using my towel, drying off. From the time I put the book down and get out of the bathtub until the time I lay in bed or sit on the couch to begin reading again, that time of drying off, drying my face, drying my body, kind of scrunching dry my hair. And if let's say I had to brushing my teeth, and then getting back down with my book, the whole time, every second of that in-between time, I am like, what the fuck is your problem? You should be doing something right now. Why are you doing this? I mean, these are just human things, drying your body after but that equals time to me. And any second of time that I'm not doing something productive, crocheting, drawing, or reading, or I guess writing sometimes, I just feel crazy. So that means anytime I'm taking care of myself, taking walks, exercising, doing yoga, making healthy food, meal prepping, eating, and then don't even get to the other. I could do it in layers. And then having fun, enjoying time, playing board games, family time. That's the next level of you're a total loser if you're enjoying that, because you should be doing something more productive. I mean, it's really sad. And it's much sadder than I thought. I always kind of thought it was just entertaining and it's just who I am and whatever. just like a lot of things, you get a lot of benefits from being a workaholic. You know, you do a really good job at what you do, and that's a good thing. But as you can see, I need to breathe because it's not the way I've been doing it. And it's way worse than I'm describing even. And it's really sad. And it's actually been really, really depressing. And so now I am very actively stepping away and assessing my life in a big way. So that's a part of what I've been up to, at least emotionally speaking, and therapeutically speaking, if you can say it that way. Other than that, you know, I am just, you know, alive and being a human being. And what else am I watching? A lot of good shows on TV. Really into this show called Frogging, Phrogging. The first episode is the best one, in my opinion. It's about the couple who moved to Hawaii. I didn't know what a frogger was. You guys know what a frogger is? It's when somebody is secretly living in your house without you knowing it. So oftentimes it's like the attic or the basement. Sometimes it's the walls. People can live in your walls, people. So it's really messed up and scary and kind of awesome at the same time. I have a crawl space that doesn't have a lock on it over in a Cafe Wendy next door. And I need to remember, note to self, go to Home Depot and get a lock on that thing. Because anybody could just be, one person had somebody living in their crawl space under their house who had formed a meth lab under their house. So can you imagine that? It's pretty scary. Well, oh my God, these 3 roommates were living on their college, in their kind of around their college campus, you know, just having a great time. 3 young women, you know, sharing makeup, sharing shirts. One of the girls with the best fashion sense started to get all her clothes missing from her closet. And she's like, where are they? And she was thinking, okay, hello, roommates. I said we could borrow things, but you guys are just stealing this shit. Well, don't worry, it was a homeless guy who somehow found a way to live in their closet sometimes, and he loved her clothes and started to wear her clothes all over the place. So anyway, they figured that out. It was pretty terrifying. Anyway, I love that show. And now this other show I'm loving that's very sad is called Text Me When You Get Home. And that is another very good crime show. You know, real people tell their stories about the people that have gone missing, and they're texting them and they're not hearing back and all this stuff. So that's a good, sad one. You know, resurgence of Grease in my life. Grease, since Olivia Newton-John died, R.I.P. I went and I saw Grease in the theater by myself one day. Now, that was pretty fun. I got to say, you guys don't know that I'm a major Grease fan, but I grew up watching it from the time I don't know what year it was that I started watching it. We got it on VHS when I was, like, the second it came out on VHS, and I've been obsessed with, well, I first saw it on TV. Then we got on VHS, and I watched it. I don't even know. I would watch it, like, 5 times a week for pretty much my whole little, like, younger childhood years. So I know every word. I know every grunt. I know every grind. I know everything on that movie. I'm not proud of it, but I'm also not embarrassed by it. So anyway, when Damien told me that Grease was playing at our local theater on an afternoon, I went by myself and saw it, and it was very fun. What else? Still have my Invisalign. You may hear my slight lisp. That's going well. It's still really annoying, though. You got to take them out every time you eat anything and then fully brush them, brush your teeth, floss your teeth, and mouthwash again and again and again every time you eat anything. So I am really kind of up to my limit here, but good news is I only have about a month left. So that's nice. Had an experience the other day where I got into verbal argument with a stranger, and it's a long story, but it was worth the argument. It was kind of messed up and very upsetting, and I cried for 2 hours afterwards, but I'm glad I stuck up for myself and for Coltrane. What else? I think that's about it for now. Let's figure out a couple more things, and then I'll come back and I'll read to you. It's good to be back. Good to talk to you guys, and thank you for your patience. Thank you for returning. I hope I haven't made you mad by, stepping away for a while. I can't wait to hear about you guys and your summers. All right. Okay, guys, I'm going to post a few clips from the past when I thought I would be posting episodes. So I don't know what the content is here. I'll be listening for the first time, just like you. But I assume I'm probably in the middle of working. So there will be a lot of studio talk and stuff like that. So here we go. Shocking new development in my taste buds. Isn't it always fun and interesting when all of a sudden you like something that you never really have before? Well, all of a sudden, even though I eat all fruit, I love vegetables, all vegetables. I especially love fruit. Like, you'll never catch me going a day without a fruit, some sort of fruit. But I've never been into like tropical drinks at all. I'm not one to get anything like that. Even as a kid, I didn't like Hawaiian punch. And then as I got older, when people started to drink, I don't know, did people drink tropical drink? I don't know. Even when you drink alcohol, like, I'm not going to get a Mai Tai. I'm not going to get a Blue Hawaiian or whatever they're called. But anyway, all of a sudden, I had this intense desire for tropical drinks today. So I went to the grocery store. What did I get? Well, I've already had pineapple kombucha and some other sort of tropical sounding kombuchas, but I got some mango iced tea, and I am just like, oh my God, it's so fun. Like having a non-alcoholic cocktail in the afternoon with all these tropical drinks, and it's very healthy, like very little sugar, just a little bit in the kombucha. So, oh no. And then I did get a little bit of mango lemonade as well and mango juice. I mean, it is summer up in here. And you know, it's been super cold in Washington State until I think yesterday. Sorry, I'm pulling my TV tray over. I'm about to eat. Oh, I'll tell you guys what I'm eating too. Anyway, and then all of a sudden it's like 95 degrees outside. Thank God I'm one of the 2 people in Washington State with air conditioning, bringing that out here from Texas. And hello, Washingtonians, if you're listening. I've talked to a lot of you locals. Everybody's like, yeah, you don't really need it except on those days. On these days, if I didn't have, I would be suicidal. And I'm not trying to be lighthearted about it. I really do mean, when I get hot like that, I just want to die. And there's no excuse. Everybody needs to put air conditioning in their houses. So anyway, I've been watching so much Real Housewives of Atlanta, and they have so many fun parties. Like, the only reason, I've said this before, the only reason I want to go to a party is to eat a bunch of food and to see what people have. I really love potluck style. You know, maybe I should go to church and go to church potlucks. Maybe that's what I need to do, because I'm certainly not being invited to any parties anytime soon. So anyway, but they just keep having, and I've watched like 6 seasons in about 4 days because I've just been working nonstop in the studio. So, what am I trying to say? Oh, so every time I see when they're like, someone comes over with a dish, and the Housewives of Atlanta are very different from Beverly Hills in New York, and they're much more my style of like, and how I grew up, you know, where you've got foil on top of your casserole dish. You've got those, you know, throwaway aluminum, you know, deep dish things that you put your creamed corn in or whatever the hell it is. And so I'm very much sentimental about that time of my life growing up, and the way my grandparents, or really my grandma and my mom and everybody would, you know, have food or bring food over to family members and stuff. And all I want out of life is to be at a potluck right now, like so desperately. I just want to be with a bunch of families. I don't even care who they are, and where there's all sorts of options, all homemade. I mean, that's a beautiful thing, and something I haven't had in so very long. I don't even know the last time. So I went to the grocery store, to the deli section, the prepared food section, and I got a whole array of sides. And plus, I love eating sides. At a restaurant, I like the appetizers and the sides. In my house or on Thanksgiving, I love the side dishes. So I got tabbouleh, I got a broccoli salad, I got a macaroni salad, I got a bean salad, and I got a potato salad. And I'm in heaven right now. So anyway, I'm pretending, and I'm taking my break. This is dinner. It's lunch and dinner because I forgot to eat, or I didn't have time to eat lunch. Now I'm eating an early dinner at 5 p.m. like all the other elderly people in my neighborhood. And even though we're not together, we're doing this in harmony. And I am about to turn on an episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'll just watch it until I'm done with my food, and then I'll go back to the studio. But for a little time here today, I'm going to pretend I'm with Nene. I'm going to pretend I'm with Phaedra. Top of my list, Phaedra and Candy, because they're the ones who seem to be always cooking the food for everybody. Nene cannot be bothered. She's more like a Beverly Hills housewife. She will go order from the fanciest place and bring it on in. But it's Phaedra and Candy who are the ones who really clearly know how to cook. And they're always doing it. So anyway, here's to me. And by the way, if I had time and I wasn't in the middle of working towards a show, I would be making all of this. I make the best tabbouleh in the entire country, okay? Better than anybody. I make actually the 3-bean salad that I have here, I make a great version of that. Macaroni salad, I nail it. Broccoli salad, nail that. Potato salad, you don't even want to start with me on my potato salad, which is my mom's. So get out of town, and all this food's about to get into my mouth. Bye-bye. Okay, this is me now in late August and I am listening back to some of these messages, especially that one just now about food. And I sound crazy. I don't know. Again, I don't do cocaine. I don't do speed. I'm doing tiniest bit of caffeine along with decaf coffee, but I sound crazy and I can't catch my breath. And the whole thing is just very intense. I'm not saying I'm just going to be Miss Calm, Miss Laid Back in the future, but I would like to be a little less amped up from time to time. And it seems like in all of these clips that I'm pulling from the past that you haven't heard yet, are very high intensity. You would think that I had a lot of endorphins from running, miles right before it or something. But trust me, there was none of that going on. I just accidentally stopped recording. Anyway, long story short, I don't know if I should apologize for the intensity. I'm too amped up. It's making me nervous. Not that I say I'm just going to be, a super laid back chick all of a sudden. But it's a little too much. It made me uncomfortable to listen to. And then I'm wondering, is that how I always sound? If so, I don't know. I am feeling weird about this. I don't know how many times I've said this, if at all, on the podcast, but I have this thing where I want everybody else's job. Anytime almost any job. I don't want to be a gastroenterologist. That's one that's out. What's another job? But anytime I see somebody working on, I'm very intrigued by almost all jobs. And I was just watching The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and it's the season when Candy puts on her play called A Mother's Love. And if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, this is Candy Burris of Escape fame. Anyway, so she's doing this musical. I'm sorry, I called it a play. It's a musical. And there was this person that came in. I don't know what their job title was, but they came. So everybody's in the back. First of all, I'm intrigued because, again, potluck happens. Everybody's brought stuff. It's on this big table. This is the premiere night. And so there's all this food on the table, and everybody's got their little plates, their little paper plates on their laps, and they're sitting around this room, and they're getting ready. It's a big day, big night. And all of a sudden, this person walks into the room, and they say, what did they say? They go, now I forget what they said. Theater's open, or stage is open, or something's open. Oh my God, let's rewind. Hold on a second. House is open. That was it. I just rewound, and I think it's the director who said it, or maybe the producer. I have no idea who it is, but I know they come into the room with all those people with their paper plates on their lap, and they say, house is open. And then for some reason, I'm over here drawing, and I'm walking around my studio right before I start talking to you guys, and I am just screaming out, house is open, all over the studio. I think I do. I want to be both the star of this production and I want to be in charge of it. I want to do all of it, which is basically how Candy is, although she's not directing it. And I don't know if she wrote it. I know she wrote a lot of the songs. Then they cut, after saying house is open, Tyler Perry's in the audience. So, I mean, this is no small feat what they're putting on at the Rialto in Atlanta. Now, Nene can't come because she's having chest pains, and I think it's from stress and overworking. Anyway, I'll stop talking about the Real Housewives of Atlanta, but if you do, of all of the ones in the franchise, if you guys are interested, I do think Atlanta is probably the best. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. I don't know how the hell I found this while I was looking something up. And I found out I'm a Taurus. My birthday's April 30th. And I just saw two different articles that say Tauruses are the most boring of the zodiac signs. Now, this upsets me. I don't even believe in this shit, but the fact that that's like a common thought about me, and all of us born around that time, it really upsets me right now. Because I know you guys sort of know this, maybe you don't, but my biggest fear is being boring. And maybe that is why I'm fearful of it, because I am. Now, it is true. I don't like to leave the house. I don't like to do anything. You can bring up almost anything, and I'll almost always say no. So I guess that's considered boring. I think that's cool. I think that's my personal opinion. I love people like me. Anyway, boring zodiac sign, Taurus. Not cool. Then I started to look up, like, maybe there was a contradiction. No, there's no contradiction. Tauruses are boring. So, sorry. Okay, before I read for you today, I do want to say one thing. So, not being on Instagram has been very good for me. And after having it off even for a week or 5 days, I didn't ever want to return to it. I think it's, obviously, what can I say that hasn't been said before? I think it's all really bad for us. So I just want to say that. A lot of you guys already know that. Some of you don't. But I don't miss it at all. And in fact, the idea of getting back on it, even to like post about my upcoming show, is really off-putting to me. So much so that I don't know if I'm going to do it. And you guys know, and a lot of you guys have reached out and given me further advice about how to, share what I'm working on. And I am currently still working on updating my website to where, the update section will tell you everything you need to know anyway. I mean, there's no use to like drill it down people's throats or whatever. It's nice to just have one post and that's it. Hey, I've got a show coming up. It's in Houston from this date to this date. Check it out or don't, It's pretty simple. I think we've overcomplicated a lot. Instagram's horrible. That's my thought. Okay, so Robinson Jeffers. I am sure I've read him on the podcast. One of my favorite poets. I'm reading from Selected Poems. This is an old book by Vintage. I don't know when this came out, but you can find this poem in a lot of his other collected books. And here we go. Look up Tour House. That's an interesting part of Robinson Jeffers' life. All right. This one's called The World's Wonders. Hold on. All right. I'm getting comfortable here on my little yarn room couch with you. The World's Wonders. Being now 3 or 4 years more than 60, I have seen strange things in my time. I have seen a merman standing waist deep in the ocean off my rock shore. Unmistakably human and unmistakably a sea beast, he submerged and never came up again. While we stood watching, I do not know what he was, and I have no theory, but this was the least of wonders. I have seen the United States grow up the strongest and wealthiest of nations and swim in the wind over bankruptcy. I have seen Europe for 2,500 years, the crown of the world, become its beggar and cripple. I have seen my people, fooled by ambitious men and a froth of sentiment, waste themselves on 3 wars. None was required, all futile, all grandly victorious. A 4th is forming. I have seen the invention of human flight, a chief desire of man's dreaming heart for 10,000 years, and men have made it the chief of the means of massacre. I have seen the far stars weighed and their distance measured and the powers that make the atom put into service. For what? To kill. To kill 500,000 flies, men I should say, one slap at a time. I have also seen doom. You can stand up and struggle or lie down and sleep. You are doomed as Oedipus. A man and a civilization grow old, grow fatally, as we say, ill. Courage and the will are bystanders. It's easy to know the beauty of inhuman things, sea, storm, and mountain. It is their soul and their meaning. Humanity has its lesser beauty, impure and painful. We have to harden our hearts to bear it. I have hardened my heart only a little. I have learned that happiness is important, but pain gives importance. The use of tragedy. Lear becomes as tall as the storm he crawls in, and a tortured Jew became God. Oh, man. That's so good. I can't remember if that was originally in my favorite of his books, Be Angry at the Sun, but it might have. I don't know if it was or not. Anyway, you can't go wrong with Robinson Jeffers, but that is probably my favorite of all of his poems. And I hope you liked it. It's as timely as ever. I'm sure that was written in the I don't know when. 50s, 60s? Anyway, all right. That's it for that one. I had a couple of notes, a couple of questions to ask you guys. Did I already ask these? I wrote these down, which is rare for me. If you were a medical doctor, what kind would you be? I would not be a gastroenterologist. I would be a hand specialist. Yeah, a hand specialist. Do you think you spend too much time on your smartphone? The answer to probably every last one of us is yes. I don't, but I still hate it. All right. What is your favorite fruit? Mine is, I always say plum, but the more plums I've been eating lately, they all kind of suck. So I'll go with, I love a good orange. Oh, and I love grapefruit. I'll go with an orange right now. Do you sleep through the night? I do not. I don't know the last time I did. I feel like I would have to stop drinking liquids at like 3 p.m. for that to happen. But I sleep hard. I'm a hard sleeper, and I sleep really well. I mean, I could sleep 24 hours a day if I didn't have anything to do. Do you think you handle stress well? And I guess I'll go further than that. If so, what's your trick? Get back to me. And we always like to ask about your sex life. How's your sex life going? We always get answers. People like to answer that question, which is really fun. And the majority of Me Reading Stuff listeners, again, have a great sex life. And then there's the other part, which is like maybe 10% of you always seem to say, no, and I don't want to. I don't care. So there you go. We're either extremely sexual or we just don't care. That's how we are on this podcast. That's what we are all about. I believe that's it. I don't want to go on and on and on and on this first episode. But upon my return, I do want to say I've missed you guys, and I thank you again, everybody who reached out. I want to dedicate this episode to a special listener. Her name is Bonnie Kraft, and she checked on me every Thursday since I've been missing, and it meant absolutely the world to me. So Bonnie Kraft, you are a gem. She said she's an 80-year-old grandmother, and I think she even told me she just found the podcast by seeing a picture of the icon or whatever you call it, the logo of Me Reading Stuff, and just clicked on it out of curiosity. That is an amazing thing to me, that anybody who would randomly pick my podcast based on the cover image would continue to listen, because we all know here that this podcast, it ain't for everybody. But apparently it is for Bonnie Kraft, and Bonnie Kraft, you're for me. I owe you something. I don't know what it is. I did make her a personal podcast as a thank you for her continued check on. I will say, when I disappear, it is always a bad thing. Unless I guess I warn you ahead of time, like, hey, I'm going out of town. I'm going to Australia for 2 weeks or something like that. That'd be different. But this is, if I disappear, that means something's wrong. So something was wrong, and Bonnie Kraft knew it. That must be her experience speaking. She knew. Not that I'm saying you're old, Bonnie Kraft. You're not. You're young, and I can tell you're young at heart. But let's face it, she had some instincts there. And I love that about her. And that this is not a diss on anybody who didn't check on me. Why would you guys have plenty to do? And, people come in and out of podcasts. I certainly do. Some of the podcasts I love the most, I wait for months and then catch up on them all at once. We're all kind of trained to do that now. So I'm not hurt by anybody, but I am charmed by Bonnie Kraft and very honored and touched. So, you guys, that's it. That is it. Be well, take good care of yourself, be good to your friends and family, be even better to yourself, because you can't be good to anybody else unless you're good to yourself. RuPaul said it. RuPaul said it in a different way. And I'm not quoting RuPaul exactly, but essentially that's what RuPaul says on every episode of Drag Race. What else? That's it. I don't know. I don't want to say goodbye. This is like the person I'm hugging you guys, and then I'm following you out to your car, and I'm hugging you again. And then as you start your car, I'm like waving you down, making you roll the window down, and I say something else to you. That's what I'm doing right now. And it's fun, and I like it, and I wouldn't change a thing. I'll talk to you guys next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
I loved it. I really liked it. It's a good episode. It had good energy, and it was funny.